It's called having a fear of heights, but I wasn't actually scared of the height, I was scared of the falling. Being high up isn't actually scary unless there's a possibility of you falling, or at least that's what I thought while standing on top of an outcropped rock above deep black waters. Apparently, I had been told that if you hit the water hard enough, it might feel like concrete, and from this height, I was sure the jump would be suicidal. An image of me going splat circled around in my head. I have always been shy since I was very little, and I was outgoing around close friends, and I was always fine doing ordinary things that were familiar to me, but I could never really bring myself to take risks such as talking to new people or raising my hand in class. I was new to McDonough School at this time, and looking back, I can see myself missing out on different opportunities to make new friends or trying something different that might even be fun. Luckily, even at this shy stage, I always had a place where I could be myself without having the slightest bit of fear in my mind. And that was the lake house, that same place where I was now perched on that high rock, looking down upon deep, frightening waters that would test the limits of my ability to overcome my shyness and fears. Every summer since I was little, I would always go to my cousin's lake house in Kentucky. I remember going from hikes to waterfalls, kayaking in the lake, and watching my brothers struggle with paddle boards with my cousins Jackson and Cameron. Cameron was 6 at the time, and Jackson and I are the same age, so at that time we were both 11. One day, we decided to go on a small boat ride along the water to an island in the middle of Rough River Lake. It was a long, sandy beach on one side, which was interesting at the time, but after an hour or so, the little kids got bored, and they decided to go exploring. Together we walked across the island, and there was a strangely shaped outcropping of rock with a few blocks that looked like steps. "This is Snakehead Rock. Me and Cammy go cliff diving here all the time," Jackson said. While it wasn't really cliff diving, it seemed that way to a small 11-year-old. "That's Snake's Head Rock over there," Cameron pointed out in his small voice. He was pointing to the strangely shaped outcropping of rock that really did look like a snake's head. There were a bunch of kayaks below us, and their owners were already jumping off the steps. Our parents had brought the boat around so they could watch us jump from the water. Cameron almost immediately jumped, nearly kicking one of the kayakers in the head. I was about to laugh, but then I stopped, immediately realizing how high up I truly was. I was slowly backing away from the edge until I felt the cold stone against my uncovered shoulders. I must have had some look on my face, because Jay had walked over to comfort me. "I don't wanna," I stuttered. "Look," he said, "it's really not that scary." Jackson seemed to always be there for me in my time of need. At that time, he grabbed my hand and pulled me away from the rocks to grasp me, and said to get her. "Okay," I squeaked, and my feet leave the ground. I felt as though I was floating, staying in the air way longer than I should have been, and then I wasn't afraid anymore. I was falling, but I wasn't scared. The water was getting closer, yet I was still moving in slow motion. And then out of nowhere, splash. My head is underwater, and I can feel myself sinking. Immediately, I swim to the surface to see Jay treading water waiting for me. I laugh about having enjoyed the thrill of the jump, and with a huge smile on my face, I climb up the stepping stone-like rocks to jump again. I remember this moment vividly because it changed my way of thinking about fear. I was scared of something harmless and even fun, and now I understand that sometimes I need to put my trust in someone else and take risks. I put my trust in Jackson, and he pushed me to try something new. This episode changed my way of thinking in every aspect of my life. Now, I don't hesitate to be myself and to take different risks and try new things. I used to be shy and hide in an invisible shell, but because of this moment, I have been trying to be more adventurous and to come out of my shell. This includes participating more in classes and making friends with new people. Thanks to Jackson, I had the courage to take a risk and leap.